The As Is podcast does not necessarily hold the views or opinions of our guests. The guests have a right to express their own thoughts, and those thoughts are protected with their freedom of speech. What they say is what they say, and we allow them the right to speak on their own behalf. The As Is podcast is not responsible nor liable for the opinions and stories of others. Welcome to another edition of the As Is podcast. Today's special guest is none other than Rick Ross, the legendary Rick Ross. Rick, what's going on, homie?
Oh man, doing what I do.
And what is that?
Fun.
What is that,
Having
black
fun.
man?
Making money.
That's what it's all about. Yo, you
That's
know
what
what?
I'm good at.
I
Good at
definitely,
making that money.
I definitely know you are. Yo, listen, man. You were my first As Is magazine launch. We did that, 12,
And you
13?
sold out too.
I did. I sold out quite a few of my issues, but you definitely set the streak.
I don't even have one of them issues.
I'm gonna send you one. Send me an address after this. I got you. And I only might have 2 or 3 of those left, and it's probably in a plaque sitting in the back somewhere, because I used to have them lined against all of the magazines lined against the wall. So I got you. But in any event, you started something for me, because you were my first sellout issue. You were my first issue immediately after me leaving Don Diva. You have an incredible story, and I'm sure people have heard this story quite a few times, because you're one of the legendary dudes. So I don't really
And
want to.
they're gonna hear it a lot more.
Probably so, and
Tell them
rightfully.
to get ready.
You know what? I hear you, and you know what? You know what? Here's where I'm gonna take this. I think your story is a story that should be on the big screen, and one of the reasons why I think it should be on the big screen right now is because of shows like Power, because of shows like BMF, because of that type of. There was a vacuum.
Snowfall. Don't forget Snowfall.
You know what? Snowfall is good. Yo, man, you know what? I've been checking that out. But you know what, man? Let me just tell you, let me break something down to you. I have an animosity towards people with you. I had animosity about your name. I'm just going to keep it 100 with you. And it had nothing to do with you. I just don't like the way dudes did what they did with you. Like, I watched how, I don't know John Singleton. I've heard about the John Singleton story. I watched the Floyd Mayweather. I watched the 50 Cents. I watched William Roberts. And I just always felt like you deserve more respect than a lot of these dudes have given you. And it was always like, to me, like dudes will hop on your back to get on and then kind of leave you left to the left. And because you're a hustler, you managed to still do what you did. But when those type of things were happening, if you even looked at it the way I seen it, if you do agree, how did that make you feel?
Well, yeah, you're absolutely correct. They lead you on to think that you got a friendship, and it's really just like you said, to benefit themselves. But you know what I always say, what Jesus Christ said, he said, Lord, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
Right.
And the way I look at it is like, damn, these fools got one of the coldest hustlers that ever walked the planet. And they treat him like that.
Right.
They don't understand. Because, at first, when I first did it, I thought, I got a little head cold, man. I was out in, I was on like a 4-city tour the other day.
Okay.
I hit Houston and Memphis, Tennessee, and Philadelphia and New Jersey, and then Minnesota. So when I got back, I was all stuffed up and stuff. Hopefully it ain't COVID though.
Yeah, hopefully. You don't need that.
No, I don't need COVID. But yeah, when I first did it with these guys, when I first met these guys, I was shocked at first, because I was like, damn, these guys recognize. They recognize my talent. Don't recognize me for what I did in the past, but recognize me for what I'm about to do.
Right.
Recognize me for where I'm going with this thing, and don't focus on, oh, well, he did this in the past. He made $1 million a day. I mean, that was a nice feat, to start with nothing and, turn $125 into a $3 million a day business. I mean, that's some cold stuff. But
It
What
is.
what I tell people is that I did that. I was totally illiterate, had never read a book, had never ran a business. Uh, uh, I didn't know nothing. I was a dummy.
Right. You wasn't dumb though.
I was dumb to a lot of stuff. And when you say dumb, you don't mean dumb to everything.
Right.
Nobody's dumb to everything. Some. Everybody knows something that somebody else don't know. But I'm saying dumb to the facts of running a business. How to do money and so forth.
Right.
Excuse me, man. I told you I'm stopped up.
Nah, you good, man. This is as is. It is what it is over here.
So when these dudes got at me, I'm thinking, oh, they get it. So even though they do it, you say they took from you, they stole from you, or they used you, or whatever. That is true, but that was nothing to really steal because I was always elevating. I'm always elevating. I'm always growing. I'm always trying to do better than I did yesterday. And I know, without a shadow of a doubt, that my abilities and my skills are going to take me to places that most people never thought about going to.
And I think that you have done that because you were allowed to make a transition from that lifestyle into what you've done now. You know, you make me go back in my memory banks. One of the things that I remembered when I first told your story, and one of the things that I'm proud of is every story that I've ever told, I've told with approval with the family. And I remember going to L.A. I remember being in L.A. with your brother. The first time I was in LA with your brother, we went to meet your moms. First of all, how is your mother and how is your brother?
My mom passed about 4 years ago.
Whoa, I'm sorry to hear
So
that, man.
yeah, that was cool though. She was 87 years old, so she had lived a good life.
She was good though. She was a nice lady. I stayed in.
Absolutely.
I stayed with your moms, man. I think I went there 2 days, and maybe it's a total of 3 or 4 hours. Uh, I liked your moms, man, and she loved you.
Well,
Like
it
I,
took somebody like her to raise somebody like me.
without a doubt, without a doubt. Like the first teacher of
Hey,
a black man is a black woman, and your mama was
yeah,
definitely that one.
without her, it wouldn't be me.
I get it. We on the same path. But one of the
So
fonder memories I had was sitting in the kitchen with your mom's and her describing to me and telling me about you and actually she had your picture in a frame. I actually put it in my documentary. She has your picture in a frame and your little tan khaki suit. You look like a little cute schoolboy. 'Cause I knew what it was, but in the mama's eyes, she was very proud of that. And I respect that. And during that visit, actually, is when I first met Nipsey Hussle with your brother. How was your brother doing?
he's good. He moved to Kansas City. And you know that house you stayed in? We lost that house.
Really? How?
Yeah. She fell behind on her mortgage. When I got out, she was like 45,000 behind, and it was a mess, man. I tried to save it. One of the things that I really hate that I couldn't do was save her house.
I mean,
And they
sometimes
put us out that house about 6 months, after 7 months, 8 months after I was out. Not long after I was out, though, we lost that house.
you know what though. But the hustling you, I'm sure, rebounded and got it back, and that's something that happens
Well, I
in.
didn't get that one back, but I got one, just as good.
Exactly. That's what I mean. You may have lost that, but
Yeah.
you got something in return because you knew how to get money. But let's talk about that. How do you think when a brother goes to jail for whatever the case is, and he is the brain or the dependent of the family, and the family can't keep up? What was that like? How did that make you feel?
Uh, it's hurtful, to know that the people around you are not elevating. They're not building. They're basically being stagnated. It's painful. I mean, and it's almost. I feel like that right now. Really, about almost like the whole black community. We're stagnated.
Yeah.
We're looking up to heroes that care nothing about us.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that, I mean, you can call somebody a homie, but if they never come to the hood, are they really the homie?
Yeah. I
You know,
agree.
if you never see them, you know, how can you call somebody homie who you never see?
I agree.
If you call them, they're not answering. So you know, when I look at the black community right now, you know, we got so many homeless people around the country. You know, I just did like 4 cities, I think, and every one of them I went to, we homeless. We
Yeah.
walk in the streets. You know, we ain't got no place to stay. And the cold thing that we as a group haven't made our minds up to say, you know what? Let's all of us put our money together and take care of our own. You
Yeah.
know, make sure our own got a place to stay.
And you know what? From
That's
you, I think that's sincere because I know on your second arrest with your case, it was partially because you were trying to raise money to get a youth center.
yep, yep.
So you've
But they
been,
set me up on that was a total setup. They
yeah,
they totally they totally crossed me on that one there. You
yeah,
know, because I wasn't selling drugs then.
right. I did your documentary. I know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, your people might not know.
I know, and it's good for you to tell them. But man, I studied you. Like I ain't gonna lie, I studied you. And you know what? I think I studied everybody that I've ever told a story on because that's what you're supposed to do. But I don't think I'm the only one that has studied you. I think there were others. For example, William Roberts, aka Rick Ross. How do you feel about that situation? And do you believe he studied you like a book?
He did. He did. He still studies me right now.
Really?
I mean, everything that I do, he comes back and do almost identical thing. You know, he released a book. You know, he just released a book not long ago.
Okay.
I should have sued him for releasing that book because the judge told him he could do music, but he ain't supposed to do nothing else.
Right.
But I ain't got time.
I hear you.
I ain't got time to fool with that right now. But yeah, he studies me. You know, he's right now what he's doing is he's really using his money to to try to run in front of me. You know, to try to stay out where he's the front runner.
Big bank take little bank. That's how that usually goes. I mean,
Yeah.
the sad thing about it is that he sold your story, your life to the world and they bought it. They bought it so much so that it's confusing sometimes. Because if you Google Rick Ross without putting freeway in the middle, in the front, you see William
He's gonna pop
Roberts.
up. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
gonna pop up.
Yeah. And that's like, brother, like, I know you've been asked this question because, you know, I started asking you this question from back in the day.
But you know, but you know what's gonna happen though?
Yeah, tell me.
All of that stuff that he has is gonna all come to me
How so?
because well, that's how things work. You know, when you put stuff out, right? Let me say this here. Let me say this here. Do you know what sweat equity is?
Sweat equity. No, I don't. Break it down for me.
Sweat equity is when you work for no money,
Okay.
but you do a really good job.
Okay.
So what I've been doing for 13 years is I've been doing what they call sweat equity.
Okay.
I've been putting sweat equity all over the country, but it's
So,
just now starting to show.
okay.
So pretty soon, say for instance, right now he got a lot of money
Okay.
because he's been getting paid for his work. But I've been doing what I call it
Sweat
sweat
equity.
equity. So my money hasn't come yet. But just because you don't get paid for doing the sweat equity right then, don't mean that the money's not gonna come.
Right.
The money's gonna come. When it's gonna come is another question. But
Right.
but I see some ginormous things about to happen with me financially
Okay.
from from multiple sources.
And I think you deserve it, man. And you know what? Maybe how I feel, I'm biased and I might be biased because, you know, I sold drugs. I use drugs too. So I just want to make that clear that I've never been on your level, not even close. And I don't pretend to have been. I've been fucked up in the streets before too. So I get both sides, but I'm still
And you ain't by
biased.
yourself. You ain't by yourself. They say 75 million people in the United States is involved in drugs,
I believe it.
using, selling, holding, manufacturing, or some form or some fashion.
I believe it.
75 million people in this country or involved with drugs.
Yeah, but you know what? The difference between me and the 75 million, and I thank you for those statistics, is that a lot of people don't like to be honest. They don't like to say what it is. Everybody want to be, you know, the big man, and nobody wants to say. Like if you in jail and you've been to jail, because I've been to jail. But you know how a crackhead come into jail and 6 months later he got a little shine, made a little weight on him because he done did the pull up bar, and now he ain't a crackhead no more.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like homie,
Yep.
I seen
Or
you
they
when you
come in there, they rich,
exactly, nigga. You was a
and they
crackhead in the
can't,
street.
and then they ask you to borrow soup until their
Exactly.
money come.
Yo, but you wasn't Muslim in jail, was you?
Uh,
Now, well, I was Muslim before I went to jail, and one of the things with the Muslims, at least that I've experienced, is they hit you with that. Can I borrow a soup or some tuna fish? And you tell them no. They say, yo, Aki, you supposed to want for your brother what you want for yourself. And the only time they talking to you is when they want some tuna fish or some soup. And my thing is, nigga, get the fuck out of here with that shit. And then it becomes, oh, you not Muslim. Astaghfirullah, Aki. Astaghfirullah my ass with that shit. And that's just how people really are. And it's something
well,
that you have to take notice of.
well, the ones who don't understand how to fend for themselves take on those characteristics.
You're
You
right.
know, this if it's somebody that can fish for themselves, have no fear. Like me, I don't really have a fear of my water getting cut off. So I could walk out on the four biggest guys in Hollywood. I walked out on them fresh out of prison. Most people couldn't do that
Right.
because they don't know how they're gonna make it. But I already knew how I was gonna make it. I already had my plan mapped out before I got out of prison. When I had my life sentence, I had a plan when I got out.
Right.
I didn't know when I was gonna get out, but I knew when I got out, I needed a plan.
Right. Speaking of plans, let's move on to the joint that you named that was by John Singleton. And God rest his soul. I don't want to talk about a dead man or somebody that's passed because I don't feel like
Yeah,
that's
you might
proper.
not, but I will.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Yeah. What you say?
I said let's talk about it. Tell me
It's crazy. You know what's crazy?
what.
I watched the first episode last night.
Right.
The first time I ever watched it was last night. I was laying in the bed, and my old lady come in the room, and she said, "Man, you ain't never watched it. You been laying in the house all day. I'm laid up when it's head cold."
Right.
And she said, "All you doing sitting there watching CNN? You don't watch reruns over and over and over. Watch an episode of Snowfall." So she clicked it on, and I watched the first episode,
Right.
and I started laughing.
Why?
It was a cartoon. They should have had a comic book. The way the whole setup and all that, I'm like, oh, this shit is so far off.
Right.
You know, when the fuck they gonna tell the real story, so the kids can learn something from it? They showing all of this glorification and then they glorify it, right?
Right.
The motherfuckers glorified in their records. I was this college had called one time, right?
Okay.
And they wanted to book me because they get us mixed up every now and then. I had a few times. Russell Simmons called me one day on accident. Hey, Rick Ross, how you doing, man? I said, I'm good. Man, I want you to be in this movie. I said, what? Russell gonna put me in a movie? You finna get a check from him, right? Hey, Shabazz, I think I'm finna get a little check. That's 50, 60,000.
Right.
That would help me. That would have helped me back then. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we talking, and then he said, "Hey, and will you do something on the soundtrack?" I said, "Hey, Russell, you got the wrong Rick Ross. You meant to call the rapper. You called me."
Wow.
Rick, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And jumped off the phone.
Wow.
But to say that it was a college gonna book me,
Right.
guess what?
What?
They had the wrong Rick Ross too.
Wow.
They said, "Oh, we don't want the real one to come in here and tell the truth because he
Wow.
really sold drugs. We don't want no real drug dealer in here." I said, "But you will let a motherfucker come in and brag about how much dope he sold, but you won't let a real one come here and tell the kids the way it's really gonna turn out? the way if you do it swell, how it's gonna end up. So, not meaning to cut you off, but I just had to get that in.
Hey, no, no, no. This is your story. It's your life, man. And it's something that I'm calling you for an interview. So you ain't cutting me off. But how does that feel, man? When you look at someone else's mentality towards what's really real, how does that make you feel inside? And how do you look at those people when they do that?
Man, Jesus Christ said it best. Say, Lord, forgive them, for they know not what they do. They don't know who I am. They can't see me for what I do. They don't
Wow.
know where I'm going. They just looking at the guys right now.
Right.
They're not saying, what's gonna happen in 5 years, or, you know, what's the future behold.
Right.
They
So
looking at really at stuff that, in my personal opinion, most of the time is sellouts anyway.
right.
When them dudes give you them deals, they have your nuts in a vice.
Right.
So you pretty much have to follow their instructions. Me, I ain't followed nobody instructions since I've been home. I walked out on Ori Emanuel because he was telling me I had to take orders from Mark Wahlberg. I'm like, I
Right.
don't take orders from nobody. When
And I
I walked
respect
out
that
that
about
prison,
you.
though, them was the last days I had to take orders from anybody.
Exactly. Exactly.
So nobody tell me when the lights go out in this house.
Exactly.
They don't tell me when the door open. They don't tell me when I can take a shower. They don't tell my kids what they can eat,
Right.
where they gonna go to school at. They don't tell them none of that.
Right.
So, uh, uh, uh,
Do you think, let me,
I'm different.
now you're not different. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful to you. You're not different. You're a man. You're a man that's been there, so you know. There are some others that are like that. I consider myself as one because I'm not taking orders from nobody for shit. I don't care
Yeah,
who you are. I'm not doing it. And I might have got some of that structure from people like you because you would be a person that I would have admired based on what you've done. And people of that caliber are usually the same way.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So, but sometimes it could be taken as a chip on your shoulder, or you don't get along well with people or work well with others, and people don't understand what has made you that way. When you've been locked up and white folks are telling you, nigga, you can shit now, you can shower now, when to go to the mess hall, on the chow. That shit builds up in you, and after a while, you put a wall there, and when you finally able to escape that, it's like never again. It's never gonna be again. But
Yeah, no doubt.
with that being established, take me into what really happened with you and John Singleton.
Well, me and John, when I got out, I had met John before I went to prison.
Okay.
Just briefly over lunch, and we was discussing doing a movie about my life.
Okay.
And this was like 94,
Okay.
93, 94.
Okay.
So we sit down and had lunch. Uh, uh, and I thought John was cool, and I thought he was a perfect dude to do my story. Being from South Central, knowing that he grew up, knowing about me. No way you grew up in South Central being a man. Maybe if you was a girl or a woman, you might not knew. Because they don't really know who I am. But being a man, you knew who I was, especially doing the kind of work he did.
Right.
And we met, had lunch a couple times, and talked, and then I wound up going back to jail.
Mm.
So everything died.
Okay.
I forgot all about John Singleton per se, not totally, but per se. Um, so when I get out of prison, because I was talking to the Hughes brothers when I was in prison about doing it,
Okay.
but when I got out, because I wanted somebody, I didn't want to do one of those movies like these dudes be doing. They do those movies,
B
and you could
grade.
tell,
Yeah.
yeah, you could tell there was somebody from the hood who did it.
Yeah.
I didn't want that. My boys did that with 100 kilos. I don't know if you saw
Of
movie
course
100
I saw that.
kilos.
Come on, man. Stop.
Well,
Knock it off.
Al did that while I was in prison.
But it was
So I didn't really.
that was a dope movie though. I
Yeah,
liked it.
it was. It
I
was
liked
cool.
it.
It was all right. And you know what? For somebody who never shot a movie, who never been in a movie to shoot it, I mean, he did a good job,
Yeah, I liked it.
and he could have did better with it.
Of course, but it was
Had
still
he
a great
stayed
movie.
down, had he stayed down with his boy. But anyway, I forgot all about John. But then when I got out of prison, my dude was like, "We need John to do this movie. That's what we need to direct." And I was like, "Yeah, I know John well." So I got in touch with him, and we started talking, and we started working on the piece.
Right.
And one day he disappeared, and then me and Nick Cassavetti went up to the Wahlberg, not the Wahlberg, the what's the dude who just went to jail?
Which one?
The white dude that used to on Miramax.
I don't know.
One of the big movie guys. I can't think of his
Weinstein?
name. Weinstein. We went to the Weinstein's office,
Okay.
and we was talking to them about doing a TV series. And then one of the guys came out with the magazine article, and it said "Snowfall coming soon." John Singleton had been funded.
Wow.
Now that was crushing
Wow.
because I thought I was about to do a TV series. Well, I'd have been making some money. I was broke.
Right.
Hey, Shabazz, I was broke. Your boy needed some bread. So I thought that was gonna be, a little check coming for me.
Right.
But John had went and did it.
You know what? Let me interject you real quick because I don't want to interrupt the story, but you said something that just hit a key for me. Let me tell you something from what I see. I've been with you. I came out to LA, chilled with you for whatever. I don't think that you were broke. When you say broke, I don't think that you mean broke as in everyday broke. I think you mean Rick Ross broke. Rick
No,
Ross broke.
I was doing bad when I got out of prison.
I mean, but when I seen you, you still had a glow. You had your people with you. It looked like you was moving around. If you was broke, I couldn't tell.
It was a day, Shabazz. I woke up, walked to my front door. I had $5 in my pocket, and I didn't know how I was gonna put gas in the car so I can go out and sell my T-shirts.
Wow. What'd you do?
Because I struggled and paid the rent. I put the $5 in the tank and went and sold some T-shirts. Somebody had to buy some T-shirts that day.
As a hustler.
Yeah, one of y'all gonna pay today, and they
Yeah.
did, and they did.
But you Rick Ross, black man. You can't take. Let me tell you something. I don't care what nobody say about you ever. They can't take away your credentials and who you are. That is who you are to the core. So that's to be commendable. That and respected. But okay, let's get back into John Singleton because I don't want to lose that story.
I don't even remember what we were talking about John. This the most attention I done gave him
Since he
since
crossed you, you was
yeah.
with the Weinsteins and you was talking about a TV show
Oh, and then they came out
with the
with the
paper.
Variety or something.
Right.
Variety or Hollywood Reporter, one of them, and they said Snowfall was funded,
Right.
and they were saying that there ain't enough room for two of those same stories.
Wow. Wow. And so did
But I
you?
didn't know. I didn't know John was gonna do my story.
Wow. Cause
I didn't know until they started doing the commercials, and then my internet, my Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. Because I said my Twitter then, they went crazy. My people were so mad.
yeah.
Man, they done stole your story.
Yeah. Snowfall definitely is a ripoff of Rick Ross. Definitely.
So what they did is they changed the commercial. If you know they changed the commercial with Snowfall. My people made them change the commercial because they was hitting up fake FX and John Singleton and me and everybody else.
Wow. Okay, so we get through the John Singleton story. Next time I see you on a major level, you rolling with Floyd Money Mayweather, sitting in the Rolls Royce, Cullinan or whatever it was.
The Rolls Royce and the Maybach.
Yeah, let me tell you, before I ask you or go on to that, I had a personal experience with Floyd myself. I used to work for another company that I'm sure you know about, and I don't have a problem with them at all. But it was Don Diva magazine. So when I was with Don Diva magazine, I went out to Vegas and I messed with Floyd. I remember I had about 7 or 8 people with me, and everybody's Google eyed over Floyd Mayweather. He had a white Rolls Royce colored, and I seen a red flag that came. He was like, "Yo, I got you." At the time I was with a girl. It was a different girl, and I took her out there with me. And I brought about 5 or 6 of my people. So he says, "Yo, Shabazz, listen, man. I had met his father. His father pulled up on me with a white girl in an SLR McLaren. We all at the MGM Grand. They doing it big, big. They pulling out stacks of money. He got a Louis Vuitton briefcase. That day, I filmed him and Jay Prince. I put it on camera, put it on tape, put it out. The jewelers came to them. He dropped $250,000 on the chain and the watch in the lobby of the MGM Grand with words, meaning the jeweler told him how much. Floyd agreed. The jeweler took his pieces, put them in little Ziploc baggy bags, gave it to him, and let him walk away. When the jeweler came, the jeweler was a white guy, Italian, 30 years old, got $1 million worth of jewelry. Me, Jay Prince, Floyd Mayweather sitting down in the lobby. Dude, man, there was no secretive, no hiding. How much? I want a deal. La da da. Floyd picked out what he wanted. Dude told him $250,000. Gave it to him right there. Now here's the flip side. I wasn't expecting much. I wasn't expecting anything but an interview. This is at that time. And the reason why is because I'm there to do a story on him. He said, "Yo, Baz, I got you. I'm gonna take you to eat." He's like, "Get your people together. We're going to eat." I'm like, "All right, cool." So then I tell my man at the time, my man named Dusty, I'm like, "Yo, Dust, son, we get ready to go eat with this nigga, yada, yada." Everybody had a little paper. We didn't have Floyd Mayweather money, but I had some money in my pocket, so I was good as far as feeding myself. So we get to the restaurant that he wants to go to. You'll never even believe the restaurant that he go to. Now, be mindful. He just spent
Which
a quarter. Red Lobster. I don't know.
His dad liked the Red Lobster too.
Yo, Rick. I just watched this nigga spend $250,000 with his words. Don't put no money on the table, nothing. He's sitting here with Jay Prince. Get up, and the nigga say, "Yo, we going to eat. I got you, Baz." When we get to Red Lobster, check it. We get to Red Lobster. Before we get to Red Lobster, he like, "Yo, get in the car with me." So I get in the car with him. The rest of my people, we got rentals. So I gave my man the keys because I was driving one. They drive behind us. When we get in there, he like, "Yo, Baz, I'm not paying for nobody else's food but yours." We in Red Lobster. Now, I'm not on some, you know what I mean? I'm not on some expecting this nigga to take care of me and my people shit at all. But he kind of blew me because this is Floyd Mayweather. A. B, we in a Rolls motherfucking Royce. C, we pulling up to Red Lobster. D, Baz, I'm not paying for nobody food but yours. So, yo, Rick, the way I take it, the way I had to carry it, I'm good, son. You ain't paying for my food. I pay for my own. And I pay for my people's. You feel me? Like, I come from that school. Like, nigga, I don't give a fuck if you Muhammad Ali, nigga. Like, if you ain't fucking with all my people like that, we all together, I can't sell my people out to sit down because you Muhammad Ali. Because when we gone, I got to go back with this girl I bought down here and my people. So I paid for my own shit. That's my story.
Like you supposed to. Like you supposed to. You know what I did?
What?
I went and got me a Floyd. I got my own Floyd now. His name is Floyd Schofield.
Okay.
Kid Austin. And I'm gonna show him how to make more money than Floyd made.
Right. So you got a boxer.
Yes. A good one too.
Yo, that's where the money at.
And guess who I had him working with?
Who?
Floyd Daddy.
His daddy cool. His daddy.
I already know.
His daddy could the nigga cut like us. The father is cool.
But guess what else he did? His daddy the one put me with Floyd. He wanted me to work with Floyd.
Okay. But what happened with that?
I know his daddy made him.
Exactly. But what happened with that?
Him, I mean, just some people got their own concepts of way life should be. And I guess if you got enough money, you can live those concepts out, and everybody else had to deal with it or get the fuck away from you, I guess.
Right. Aren't you in the weed world? Haven't you
Yeah.
done? Yeah,
I won two.
tell us about that.
I won a license here. I won one license here in the lottery in LA,
Okay.
and then I bought another license.
Okay. So you got your own weed thing going on?
I got a dispensary I'm working on right now. I'm working on a grow, and I got three brands out: LA Kingpin, Freeway, and another one called Yayo.
Oh, okay. How's that doing, man? How is the money good in that?
Uh, it ain't as good as everybody think.
Could it be that you're in
Uh,
a competitive market in LA?
all the markets are competitive right now.
Really?
This is a future business though, because it's so much stuff. The regulations are not right. So many things wrong with it now that that is just ain't it's just not a profitable business right now.
Okay.
Like California taxes is 50%.
Wow.
So when you're getting taxed like that, all that stuff has to be ironed out and straightened out.
Wow.
So, but once they get everything ironed out,
It's gonna.
in my opinion, it's gonna be a great business.
Wow. Hey, you know what? I asked you this the other day. Guess who I talked to?
Who is that?
Charles Cosby.
Oh yeah, you told me.
Yeah, I just talked to him, man. He doing all right, man. He got a movie getting ready to come out. He getting ready to tell his life story. And you two were the first two guys that I had that were on that level. You guys were enormous, tremendously big. And I don't think people really know Charles. Well, they should because of Griselda, and he was on Cocaine Cowboys too. But I don't think his name resonates the way Rick Ross's name resonates in the streets. I think
There's
he's.
nobody who name resonate like Rick Ross.
There we go.
Come on, man. Hey, come on, Shabazz. Who? Who? Not a big Meech. You know what I'm saying? Meech is probably his competition, and he ain't there.
Yo, I mean, you know what, man? Listen, just briefly, I can go into your story, and I remember finding out like Gary Webb did. And Gary Webb, of course, was the reporter who first put together that there was you were backing the Contras and you didn't know it, and as a result, he ended up with two bullets in his head, and they said it was suicide. And how it could be suicide with two bullets is beyond me. So when I was first doing your story and I started discovering stuff out like that, I kind of got scared and nervous because you were actually, and you didn't know it at the time, allowed to have plane loads full of cocaine come into America under the Reagan administration. So I don't think that people really know that Big Meech is not on your level. And that's no disrespect to Big Meech, but you were definitely a monster. And I
I
think
had
that,
my own task force as well.
I know,
You know, they had to put the task force together. 35 cops. They looked for me every day, and they couldn't even find me.
you was a ghost.
Now, hey, not only could they not stop me, but they couldn't find
I
me.
already know.
Hey,
I
remember that piece they did on the LA Gang Godfathers?
Okay.
You remember that piece?
I didn't see
It
that
was
one, but okay, I believe
nah,
you.
you didn't see it.
Nah.
They had like the three LA Gang Godfathers on there. Me and Harrio and Honcho
Okay.
was on there, and they were saying that I was the most elusive out of all of them. I
You
was like a
were.
ghost.
You were. I put that in my own documentary. You were. And Gary Webb even said that people did not realize who you were, and you was really a ghost. You weren't. You definitely didn't operate the way.
Well,
The
what I felt that really if a person wants to, he can be invisible.
Right. When you
And
get when you get the
if
money
you,
that you were getting, you can.
I know I was invisible before that.
Really.
I'm invisible right now. If
Oh,
they if they knew who I was and what I'm about to do, they would stop me right now.
right.
I'm about to do some stuff. I see now me going down in history like Muhammad Ali, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey. maybe even bigger than them.
Now this is going to be positive though, correct?
That's all it could be.
Right.
Everything I ever did was positive.
Right.
I've never did anything negative.
No,
Even when
well,
I sold cocaine, I didn't sell cocaine with a negative with negativity.
no, but it was still negative. You still my man. Don't get mad at me, but nigga, that shit was negative.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah and no, yeah and no.
I get what you're saying though.
It's fucked up that people get high on it,
True,
but brothers made a lot of money with it.
they did. They definitely did. And you were definitely a tycoon, and you were definitely the best to do it. And my
So
hats off
so
to you.
so it go both ways, Not that I tell people to sell cocaine, no. But at the end of the day, the stuff that I know right now, I learned from selling cocaine.
Yeah,
The people. It's something about when you selling drugs and you really in the trenches. See, I wasn't one of those drug dealers who, like I see Snowfall the other day, the guy started with a kilo of cocaine. I'm like, what the fuck is that, huh, motherfucker? And I started with $125.
right,
I only got $125 after we went and stole the fucking car to take the wheels off of, because we didn't have $125 a piece.
right,
I went and stole the car to make that money.
right. I
It
had that in
took
my
us
documentary. I remember.
it took us 2 or 3 years to get a fucking kilo.
Right.
This motherfucker go in there and ask the man right off the bat for a kilo of cocaine.
It's
I said,
TV, man.
what? You don't even know this motherfucker, and you ask him, you go in there with $300. The man tell you he don't sell no $300 worth of dope, and then you ask him to give you a kilo on credit.
That's funny.
That's some funny shit.
Yeah, but the funny thing about it is these young boys, they believe that's bullshit.
I already know. That's why people so fucked up.
Exactly. I'm glad you see that. Exactly. How do
Yeah, I
we
see
change
that.
that, Rick? How do we turn it around?
That's what I'm doing. I remember when blacks didn't want to sell cocaine. See, most people don't remember them days. I remember them days.
So the customer was primarily other than black.
No, not just that. Just blacks didn't want to be involved. My guys didn't want to be involved with cocaine,
So what
selling, using, none of it. They didn't want to be involved.
so what were they on? Heroin? Weed?
They wasn't using drugs at all. They were squares.
Wow. Wow.
They were squares.
Wow. So how did you turn that around? How did you change them?
Well, when they saw me doing so well, even with me being low key, it was like I really couldn't hide it. Like when in the '80s, in '81, I'm driving an '80 Cutlass, like brand new
Right.
that I bought from the auction. I was gonna fix it up and sell it, but
Right.
to all my friends, that was a big deal.
It was. It
Here you
actually was.
go. Here you go from being the guy who who can't put gas in his car to driving a brand new Cutlass,
Right.
and that ain't even that's like crumbs to you
Yeah.
because you got a junkyard where you got the car down there for free anyway.
Right.
So when they started seeing that, it started to encourage them to find out more about what I was doing, and I
Yeah.
needed to and I needed to educate myself anyway.
Rick, you've come a long way, man. And I sincerely believe that you are going to continue to move. And you know what? I think ironically, you're going to be a good luck charm for me because I remember when I first started as is, like I said, had been with Don Diva, and unfortunately, we just didn't see eye to eye, and I left, and I said, fuck that, I'm gonna start my own, and I had my eye on you, and at the time, William Roberts came out with the songs he came out with. Your name was popping in the streets, but you was already on my radar, and I remember reaching out to you and us making it happen, and man, I didn't had a run since your ass been
Well,
out of
we
jail.
was doing, and remember, BET was doing American Gangster at the same time.
Exactly. Exactly. I remember the producer of BET coming to me in the Biltmore Hotel to assist them with some of the stories. And at the time, I was green because he hit me with, you'll get producer's credits and $1,000. And I ain't gonna lie, at that time, I was more concerned with just being involved with BET than the money or the credits. So I went for the deal. And I bumped into him. The reason why I think he even made that offer is because we bumped into him at your mama house. They came to see me at the Biltmore Hotel, and then somehow or another they ended up at your mother's house or through your brother. So I guess he must have felt like I can't even remember his name, but I know they went on. They left American Gangster, and they didn't. They started to join on
You want to
Unsung.
hear something? You want to hear something even crazier than that?
What
Reginald Hutton was the president of BET.
was he?
Yeah.
Was he? Yeah, but
Guess
BET.
who doing the movie?
Oh, that's good. Because while BET, even though they were black at that time, they were outsourcing their production companies. So the production companies that were doing the movies for them, they wasn't black. Because the dude that came to me, he was white all day, and he
Well,
was
that's the first show that BET ever produced.
okay, okay. And I was just happy to be association with
And then, wait a
BET.
minute, I made a mistake about that.
What?
It's the first show they ever produced that they sold to another network. That's what it was.
Okay,
Because they sold American Gangster.
okay, yeah. Because he's
They
yeah.
was embarrassed. They was embarrassed. I guess BT was embarrassed of American Gangster.
You know what? I
But
heard
it
that, and because of
but
the, go ahead.
but
I'm
it
sorry.
did numbers.
It did. That's what I was going to say. And one of the things that they did was they came back second season and they told me they were going to put me as a part of their production crew. Now, at the time, in the first year, I'm thinking it was directly BET, but it wasn't. It was an outsourced production company. But they warned me that BET was getting cold feet because the advertisers were pulling out because they felt it was glorifying those stories. That's what the problem was. And then they didn't get re-signed and everything went to shit. And then
They
Gangland.
did 3 series though.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I said the wrong second year. Maybe it was the third year. But I know I was a part of it, and I know that's what happened. And
Yeah.
it went to shit. And then Gangland came with History Channel, and then that went out in 3 or 4 seasons. And then it was a hole. There was nothing. And this is why I believe 50 is doing so well with those shows like Power. I think Epix is doing good with The Godfather of Harlem. Of course, BMF, because there was a hole there, and it created a vacuum. But the audience and the fans of those type of shows still exist. What I
Oh,
think,
absolutely.
without a doubt, and
Well,
I
you know what I could tell you
what
about America?
tell me,
They love drug dealers.
you ain't got to. I know that. I believe it. They love those
Even
stories.
even the ones who you may not even suspect.
Right.
Now, they don't have the heart to sell drugs, but deep down inside, they want to be a drug dealer.
Cause it's the addiction, Rick. I know I ain't telling you shit, but it's the adrenaline rush of just being able to maneuver, and you know what I mean. Like it's an addictive trait,
And it's a way for you to really express yourself with
without a doubt.
nobody holding you back. Ain't nobody there to block you.
Exactly.
I mean, it is people to block you,
But
but
if you smart, you get around them.
you can get around them on your own. It ain't like,
Exactly.
you get in one of those dead end jobs, and here you got Willie Lump Lump who don't know how to tie his shoes, and you can't get around him
Right.
because the boss won't talk higher than him.
Right. You're
But
right.
with
I
with the
agree.
drugs, it ain't really like that.
Right.
It's like, oh no, I as high as I want to go.
Exactly. And it's just that feeling. But you know what? The smart thing to do is what you've done now, and this is what I'm attempting to do. You can you change your aim instead of using the drugs. You just change the tool. Now you change it. You doing it with books, and you doing it with your name and your story. You're not
Well,
selling the cocaine.
what I did when I was in jail, as you already know, is I studied.
Right.
When most people talk to me and listen to me, they wouldn't believe that I'm who I am
Right.
because I know I speak intelligent. There's words that I don't really know the word per se, but I know when I say it how to put it in the right meaning because I read so many books.
Right.
I read over 300 books before I left prison, and that was in order to prepare myself for this journey that I was gonna go on this time.
Right.
Because what I found out is the best revenge is success.
Exactly.
So I'm trying to become so successful before these people die. So they have to look at it and say, damn, that motherfucker made it again.
Yo, me and you both, homie. That's on my mama. Me and you
So
both.
so I'm on that mission right now
Me too.
to become so successful that these motherfuckers is gonna throw up. They might commit suicide. They might jump off the bridge. They might come get me, say, you know, what's the name? Jumped off the bridge and it was your fault. The note, he left a note and said that you made him do it.
Right. And that's cause
Because
you
you got
on that's on you on your job. You doing what you're supposed to do. And that's how the game's
absolutely,
supposed to go.
absolutely.
Right.
But that's how we as blacks got to start playing the game. And a lot of times we don't even participate.
Yeah, true. True story. But I'm
So I
on
was
that.
in New Jersey. I was in New Jersey the other day doing a weed conference,
Hmm.
and I walk in the place. And the place got about 40, enough for 40 people, and I was like, 40 feet? This motherfucker's gonna be jam packed.
Right.
I know all these motherfuckers want weed licenses.
Wow.
15, 20 people showed up,
Wow.
but they're gonna be, you know, once they put in the newspaper, oh, these are people wanting the weed licenses. They're gonna want one. Then, oh, I want one. But you ain't got your ear to what's going on. You ain't
Right.
keeping up.
Right.
You know, motherfuckers just don't. They just don't bring success to you, man. You gotta go out and seek it out. You know, you gotta hunt for it.
Right.
And so often, you know, our people they don't understand that. You know, they don't understand. One time I read a book and it said something like this here. It said poverty is ruthless. He said for poverty to come in, you don't have to do nothing but just sit there and eat popcorn and watch TV all day.
Wow.
And he said poverty will take over. It'll surround you.
True.
He said, but riches, on the other hand, he said riches is meek.
Right.
Riches is something that has to be sunk out. You have to
Right.
go out and look for riches. You have to hunt for it. You got to be clever. You got to be shrewd. Sometimes you got to stay up late. Sometimes you got to get up early.
True. Very true. Very true.
And when I found those things out, it kind of let me know you already had those traits in you.
Right.
That's the only thing you really did in the cocaine game. You didn't do nothing special. Anybody could have made $3 million a day
I ain't gonna agree with that part.
if they did the principles.
I don't know,
If they
Rick.
would have, if they would have followed the steps. I'm telling you.
I don't
Listen,
know, Rick.
Shabazz,
I think it's you.
Shabazz,
I don't think it.
Shabazz,
Okay.
Shabazz. Listen to me.
Okay.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Cause you my little brother still.
Okay.
Anybody that follow those fucking principles, you almost can't fail in nothing you do. Now the cocaine game is a failing industry. The whole setup for the cocaine game is to fail.
Right.
The pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is jail.
Right.
That's the end. That's the end goal.
Right.
That's what you're doing it for.
Okay.
To become number one on the list, so that once you become number one, the feds come and get you.
Right.
Because they always want number one. So once you know that's the end game, you know that's a failing industry. That's an industry that's designed for you to fail.
Okay.
So me going to prison was really I succeeded.
Hmm.
Do that make sense to you?
You succeeded by following the suit of what you were designed to do, which is fail. Is what you're saying?
Exactly.
Okay.
So really, I succeeded when I went to prison.
Okay.
So now I know that all I got to do is pick a business where the end goal is what I really want.
Right.
Because I didn't necessarily pick the goal for cocaine. I was kind of like through in it.
Yeah, definitely.
I didn't sit down and for months. I'm like, oh, man, I want to get into cocaine. No, was not the case.
Right.
Not the case at all.
I think you were catapulted into that, and I think that you were used as a tool in the pawn in the beginning, and I don't think that you were aware of the
Well,
power.
we all, no matter what industry you go in, you could be a pawn.
But no, and I'm not saying in a negative sense, nigga. You was a pawn in the
I
best
know.
fucking sense that you could be. Shit, I'll be a pawn for you,
I
goddamn
didn't take it. I didn't take it as negative.
it.
I never took it as negative.
Yeah, because
I
I ain't
just
mean it
said
that
that.
way.
I just said that you can be a pawn in many different industries,
Right, I got it.
even when it looks like or you feel like you're the boss.
Right, I got it.
Because nobody couldn't have told me that I wasn't the boss.
Right, I got it.
Because every time I went to them with my own money.
Right,
I
I
could go buy my cocaine from whoever I wanted to.
right. I get it.
No strings attached.
I get it.
But in actuality,
You was getting it from the
yeah.
government.
Hey, we've been going deep tonight, man.
Hey man,
You said
listen.
15 minutes too.
Yeah, yeah. Hey man, I'm
You had to.
sorry.
Yeah, you good. Go ahead. We'll come
Nah,
on.
we'll do it. We'll
I'm
do
cool.
this. We'll do it again, brother. But listen, I want to thank you for doing the podcast. One, when I started off in this game, I started with you. I'm going into another game, so I'm just letting it be known that niggas need to watch out. And you know what? I'm not even gonna say that. I want the best for everybody. Now it's gonna have to be who's the best hustler, because I'm in this game, and now I'm starting again with you. So, with that being said,
That's because you smart.
we gonna see.
You gonna get hits on that. You're gonna get hits on this interview. This is one of my coldest interviews. I gave you a cold interview tonight.
I mean, you know what? You know what? I ain't gonna be arrogant, but how the fuck could you not, nigga? You know I'm real. I know you real. What we gonna do? Talk about some bullshit? Like what we gonna talk about? Some bullshit? Like we did this in the magazine.
I don't talk about bullshit.
Yo, your magazine flew, nigga, and I was doing numbers 15 years ago. I think we was sold out of your shit in 3 or 4 days. That is a classic. A classic. You hear me? And it's because
Yeah.
niggas couldn't but help but to respect what you did. Yo, I mean, your name is branded and made millions of dollars for another nigga. Like you are a fucking entity. So
Not just one. It's like 4 rappers that use my name.
there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I probably more people use my name in hip hop than anybody.
and that shit is
Hey,
sad.
hey, I got so many records that motherfuckers don't even know.
That shit,
Ain't nobody else know 4 people took their name, use their name.
yeah, yeah.
And I ain't bragging, but it is what it is.
It
The
is.
truth is the truth.
It is. Agreed. 100%. And I'd like to thank you for coming on and expressing your truth. Rick, man, always a pleasure. Whatever
Blow
you
up,
need
man.
from me, nigga,
Blow up.
you already know you can call me
Oh,
and
you
I
know
got
what?
you.
You know what you can do? I'm gonna let you do my boxer. I'm gonna bring my boxer on your show.
Do that. And you know what, man? I'm gonna talk to Carl tomorrow, man. We gonna politic when I get off of this podcast. I just hit you tomorrow or some shit
Carl
and I'll
got my
text you.
number. Tell him to call me.
Yeah,
Carl
well,
got my
there's no
number.
doubt. And then I got my man KP too. Like I said, he doing big things out in Dubai with his fighters and all that too. So I don't got a problem. You know, we network, but we gonna network with real people, real niggas, not on fake phony ass niggas that be doing bullshit. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that's just what it
All
is. Thank you, black man. You have a good night. All right, Rick.
All right.
All right, peace.